One of the misconceptions I've found a lot of people hold on to very late in life when it comes to forgiveness is we think that forgiveness and reconciliation are the same thing. We think when we forgive someone, it means the relationship stays the same. We continue as if nothing happened. But true forgiveness is really about how you feel and how you emotionally react when you remember what that person did and how you react when you see that person on an emotional level. We don't actually reach true forgiveness until we can see that person or hear about that person or think about that person and not feel the same level of anger and hurt and betrayal as we did when whatever it is happened. When you decide to forgive someone, because it is a decision, you don't have to reconcile with that person. You can decide to modify the relationship, meaning you continue to have a relationship, but it doesn't remain the same. The nature of the relationship might be different. The boundaries in the relationship might look different. Or you could decide to end the relationship. That's also an option. Or you can keep the relationship as it is. It's all your choice. But it is not the same as reconciliation, because here's the thing. You can decide to reconcile, right? Meaning you decide to move forward in the relationship as it was, but you still have those same feelings. You're still angry. You're still bitter about whatever happened, right? And so that's why sometimes when people have problems in relationships, and this applies to any type of relationship, not necessarily romantic relationships, but this is often why people go over and over and argue over and over what was done to each other, because we reconcile without actually healing from what happened. And so healing from what happened takes work. It takes being able to truly acknowledge what it is that the person did and how it impacted you. And then making a decision and trying to realize, like, okay, how did it impact me? And like, am I okay with the way that it impacted me? Am I okay with the way that I've changed because of what this person did? Am I okay with that impact, right? And then you make a decision. What do I get out of forgiving this person? What do I get out of leaving this hurt in the past? What do I get out of that? And you can decide, I'm okay with how I've changed. I think I've actually grown. I think I've learned. I think I've learned something that can help me in other relationships with other people. Or you can decide, I don't like the way I've changed. I don't like the way I move since this thing happened, right? And then you make a decision from there. Do I want to forgive? Do I want to let go about the way I feel about this person? And then from there, it becomes easier because you can then move towards starting to really think about what caused the person to do what they did, what it is that they were going through that made them do what they did. And it's not about excusing the behavior, it's about understanding the behavior, right? And then when you decide to forgive, you now decide, what nature of relationship do I want to have with this person? No one can make you forgive. The decision has to be yours. And so this idea of forgive and forget is a Christian value that most of us would have grown up with, right? However, we don't have control over what we can forget. We don't have control over what we remember. And so I think oftentimes we read these things and take it so literally, not realizing that the idea of forgetting what happened is more about the emotional aspect, right? Because you can't control what you remember, but you do have some control over how you react to that memory. But that does take a lot of work. And if that is something, if hearing this impacted you in some way and is leaving you questioning something or questioning a relationship or questioning whether or not you're ready to forgive, I would encourage you to think about seeking support. Talk to a therapist, talk to a mental health coach, talk to someone who is trained in helping people to heal in a way that is non-judgmental and is realistic. Because too many times we talk about forgiveness in a way that is just not realistic for most people, and that's why we shy away from it. But it absolutely is for you, and it is so freeing, and it is something that I wish for so many people. Because just think about how you would feel if you could let go of the emotional toll that something had on you. That's truly moving on.